Okay, welcome everybody to week 5 of group coaching. Remember, we're done on the 24th, so we just have week 6 and week 7. Like, you guys, you're getting there, getting really close. So you should have completed week 5 in the Thinkific launch course. Otherwise, this call isn't going to make that much sense. It talked about asking for referrals. And here's a really fun thing about Thinkific. I don't think they've always had this. I can see if you've actually viewed it or if you've just clicked on it. So I'm watching all of you. I'm just kidding. But more than anything, you'll probably just feel lost if you're not actually watching them. So I would recommend it. Okay. So our agenda for today, we'll talk about last week's challenge and wrap up some closing stuff. We'll do wins, referrals. Okay. So we're going to kind of probably do a bit of a referral rant, but more than anything, I want to help you get more comfortable with referrals, okay? And I also want to talk about what to say when you're actually contacting the referral. That's pretty much it. Referrals is enough to like bog anybody's brain down for some people working through the emotional baggage of that. So we're going to try and trudge through that, and we'll announce the challenge and be good to go. All right, so the people who I have completed, so it was to post a video of you doing your clothes with a drop down. We had stuffed animals, we had husbands, we had imaginary people. It was great. So good job, everybody who did that. There's a couple I need to catch up on watching. But I've got Sonia, Marianne, Amy, Sasha, Heidi, Meredith, Ashley, Julie, Jackie, and Jerry. So if I missed you, let me know. But okay, so here's my the only thing I'm going to say to wrap up closing, just a couple things here really quick. Seriously, go watch other people's videos, because if you think that closing is weird or scary, just go watch them and be like, that was the most normal thing I've ever heard, and your verbiage that you all shared was amazing. Like Sasha changed the first appointment special verbiage, and it was awesome. And Heidi shows us how to close from the Natural Solutions kit, from a bigger kit. That's just like the very beginning of it. There are all sorts of great examples. So like, seriously, take them to invest the 8 minutes in your business and watch those videos. They're really, really good. And you'll see that you guys all sounded so normal, not weird at all. Okay. So, yeah, that's pretty much what I want to say to wrap up closing. Let's do some wins. So go ahead and unmute yourself. You can put it in the chat, whatever. I would love to hear some wins from the week.
I had my first appointment and I closed. Yay!
Yay, that's a great one. Can you unmute yourself really quick? How did you feel at the end of it? Like, were you like relieved that it was over? Like the appointment in general, like, did you enjoy it? What did you think?
I mean, it was with my sister, so it was one of my safe people, but I felt good because even though I was like, hey, Claire, this is my practice thing. Like, if you do see something you like, obviously I can help you get it, but like, I completely understand that, like, you're my sister and I'm not going to force you into anything or whatever. But she was like, no, seriously, like, my boyfriend's snoring and I think Breathe will really help. So I'm really excited to get this and that and get my diffuser. And so like, it was really great because I like, as much as she was my safe person and I knew that nothing bad would happen, like, I was still helping her and her boyfriend and her pups and her kiddo. So that's good.
I love that. Thank you for sharing. I know for some people, they're like, oh, you want me to start with like my family and my closest friends. But honestly, from doing this myself and watching others do it, the people that we tend to blow it with most are our family members and our close friends, by not just being straightforward. We mean so well, guys. We mean so well. So I am like, it makes my heart so happy to know that you and your sister had that really positive experience. She knows the info, and that, like, I feel like everybody wins in that. So thank you for sharing that. Good. What are some other wins? Yummer, are you going like?
I had a good, I do that to my kids. I had a good, like, Melissa was with you, and so I had a good, like, coaching call or whatever, run-throughs with Jerry and Julie, and it was just really great to kind of play the part I usually don't play because it's Melissa's, she's the leader, and so it was just neat to be like, oh, different views, different peeps, than Krista and Jordan, you know. So that was a win just to show up, and yeah, that's great. Yep.
Thanks. We were slacking on the beach. Yeah, I love that Jerry and Julie like did their sit. Like some of you used each other, and like Mur the week before, you and Krista, right, did it together. So I think that's really good. And yeah, so how my mom had her, some of her people just like get on and practice it together. So if you're like, I have limited hours and it would be helpful to just be on with a group of like-minded people, you can do that too in the Zoom room. So that's awesome. Thanks, Mur. Way to show up. Let's do at least one more. Oh, my mom doesn't get any credit for it. I guess they did it all on their own. My win was hanging out, sipping iced tea, unsweetened iced tea all week long with all the people. Guys, my mom was holding Natalie Goddard's hand. She was like, I saw you wipe sand off your belly on the volleyball court. I was like, hey, Emily Wright. She was on a mission. There was a sting from a jellyfish. So it was getting kind of exciting, but everybody's fine. So many different things. The regional sales director just calls me Wisconsin. He's just like, hey, Wisconsin. That's all he's got. So I feel like we really made some progress for the Northwoods team. We worked really hard at it. So that's a win. Okay, let's do one more. That one didn't really count. It did. Just one more. You guys got it.
I think that a win for me was being in Mexico with 500 other people, and so many people that I talked to had done Emerge, but they were also doing Empowered Success, and they were doing Live Naturally tools, and it was a win for me to see these people in all different ranks, really using different tools and combining them in a way that makes sense with their passion and their gifting. And I thought that was really neat. That was a win.
Yeah, I think my mom and I both agree, and I knew this. Like, there's no magic bullet. Like, you do the hard work, you get it done, you figure out what works for you, you care for people well, you learn the skills. Like, it's just like you do the things. And that's what, like, the people who we were sitting there with that, like, make us like, I am sitting there with these people. They're the people who did the things. So, yeah, I thought that was really good. Thanks, Mom. Okay, thank you, everybody, for sharing their wins. All right, we're going to start talking about referrals. So who here is like, this is a harder topic for me, like referrals. This is like, yeah, we've got some confessions here. So if it's not for you, like I've said this a couple times before, but if this is not a harder topic for you, just pay very close attention, because you will have somebody on your team that this is very challenging for, okay? This is one of those skill sets that whether you're like brand new or you've been doing this for a while, like myself and some of the other people on the call, this is sometimes one of those skills you have to keep coming back to. Like, remember that sales skill assessment? Sometimes it's like, oh, I'm a 2 on it. Okay, now I'm a 1. I'm doing terrible. Okay, I'm a 2.5. So, like, none of us are perfect at this, and it's totally a journey. But this is one of those times where I'm going to ask you to lean into something that doesn't come naturally for most of you. And trust me that if you can, like, wrestle with it, that you will see fruit. You will see a lot of fruit from it in your business. In our time together, we've also talked about, like, are you a 1, a 2, or a 3? So 1s are like, I would just argue this, like, 1s are going to have sales conversations just like 2s and 3s. They might not be making phone calls to set them up, but they're still having sales conversations, and you darn better be asking for referrals at those. Like, I think this is, no matter what your goal is, this is something that you should be doing, because ultimately it's about your customer and serving them and their community, which we'll talk about, and not really about you. So this is for everybody, I think, no matter what your goal is. Okay, so who learned something, or who had any kind of a takeaway or nugget from the videos on the Thinkific course this week leading up to our time together? Do you have anything that stood out to you, or anything that you thought, oh, that's kind of interesting? Talk to me about that a little bit. Or you didn't learn anything new, that's okay too.
I just feel like the way you explained it and shared it and taught it made it feel so natural. Like, why wouldn't we? But I know before referrals came into my life, I was like, it wasn't even in our in my frame of like, I wouldn't even have thought of that. And the way you explained it was like, well, yes, why wouldn't we? And so it's just like I had a lot of ahs right now, but my notes aren't with me, but it was really good to have like lots of light bulbs going, and then just like, why wouldn't we? Like, what did we do before and stuff?
Yeah, what did we do before? Thanks, Mar. Oftentimes I have somebody coming to me, or I myself am thinking, I like need to be here. Like I need to be here to be done with my job. I need to be here to pay for the groceries. I need to be here to feel better about staying home. Like whatever, I need to be this rank. And I have a very hard time looking at somebody honestly in the eye and saying, well, you could just kind of like flippantly contact people or creep on people on social media, but I can't tell you when you're going to reach any of your goals because that's really hard to track. You might get 10 people talking, you might get 0, like crickets for years. And so I want to give you something where I can say, yeah, statistically, this is kind of what you're going to get and what you're going to see, so you can move forward to that goal. It feels kind of crappy for me to be like, yeah, that's your goal. Well, I can't move you at all towards that. You just have to want it really bad, like we've talked about. So I don't want to do that. I want to say to you, this is something you can do to move you towards that goal, and this is what it would look like. So concrete, right? Not vague, not wishy-washy. Anybody else have a takeaway from the videos or the homework?
Yeah, I was just looking at my notes, and you had said 91% of people are willing to give referrals, and I think that's probably a little higher than I thought, but I think that is true. I know people have said to me, oh, I really appreciate your time, and so it's just a perfect time to jump in and say that, and it's just a matter of me remembering to ask.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I hear you on that. Yeah, there are so many people who have like served me in different capacities that at the end of the day were salespeople who I would be like, you have to go to them. Like you have to go to that person. Like I would have no problem. And I would imagine if anyone met with one of you, they would be like, yeah, you've got to talk to my oil lady. She knows her stuff. She's going to help you. So it's true. I just have to remind myself that, like that confidence piece, that people think of me and their time with me the way that I would think of like whatever, insert the name of whoever that person is. Yeah, we can hear about Melissa. Mom, are you still on? No. Oh yeah. Hi, Mom.
I'm here.
About,
when it's time, or I can do it quickly.
You can do it. Why don't we do, I'll tell you. Don't let me forget. Don't let me forget that. Good. Thank you, Wendy. Any other takeaways or things that stood out from the videos? Oh, Meredith put one in the chat. I assumed getting 5 names meant 5 appointments, but it makes sense. Not everyone will feel comfortable. Yeah, the more appointments. Right. So, Meredith, I'm really glad that you know that now, because if you got 5 referrals and you didn't get 5 appointments, you would probably be like, what is wrong with me? Everybody else is booking 5 appointments off of 5 referrals. So yeah, I think it's good to know the reality of it's probably about 1 appointment, maybe 2, but probably about 1. Good. Okay. What are some things that still hold you up about referrals? That's my other question to you. What are some things that you're like, yeah, no, absolutely not? I'm going to jot some of these down here.
I have one.
Okay, go for it, Heidi.
So I struggle, like, I don't know, just maybe it's because, like, being in this business longer, I have, like, this core belief that it's just a matter of time before people realize they could at least be getting their products paid for. So everyone that they just referred to me should be sponsored underneath them. And so that is a hang up I have, where asking for referrals right out of the gate does not feel comfortable. Doing it more at like after the follow-up appointment, or even like the next one after that, where I feel more comfortable introducing the idea of hosting an oil gathering or doing like an online group or asking for referrals.
I get that. Yeah, I think we can
So,
talk about that.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Okay, what are some other things that are holding people up when they think about asking for referrals?
I think it's just our mindset. Like, I'm willing to give anybody a referral, but then yet to ask, it's difficult.
That's very true, Amy. Yeah. And I do think it's really easy to let asking for referrals feel super personal, right? But yeah, no, that's a good one. Okay, good. What else? What else holds you up from asking for referrals?
Well, I think it's weird to say, get out your phone and go through your contact list and give me 5 people right now. Like, that's just like high pressure to me. I don't know.
Write that down. Thanks, son. Mom, what did you put in the chat? That you already feel like you've asked them for a lot, right? Yes. Good. What else? Anything else?
I have like a huge, well, I used to have a huge trust issue with people. Now I only have half a huge trust issue with people. And so it projects before I ask somebody for a referral. I'm like, dude, I don't trust you. So why would you even trust me to ask for, or like to give me referrals? And I think I'm just realizing this right now as we're talking, because I never thought before, what's hard? I just would go through the whole outline and be like, okay, so it's my passion. But when it comes to like trust, now I'm like, oh great, so I'm just having a big fat aha right now. That's crazy. I don't know if you can solve that, but I'll take any wisdom about that.
I think it's so interesting, like the amount of things that the majority of us have to work through on this topic. Like you would think we were asking for somebody's hand in marriage. Like you would think that I was asking them for like a lifelong commitment. I mean, I had to work through plenty of stuff on this, but you would think with the immensity of it that you were like asking for something like really committed. So we can all laugh about that. I didn't mean that meanly, Mark. Okay, anything else holding up? Let me see. Oh, Meredith, yeah, text me that question. I think I have info for you on that. And people won't feel, okay, my mom says people aren't going to want to give me their friends' info. Right, all the things. So, you know, you've watched the videos and you still are like, yeah, I'm probably not doing this, Amy, fat chance. So we just need to talk about some of this. I want to talk about some of those things, some general things about referrals that I've like worked with along the way or had to kind of wrestle through. But I think I just want to say, I think it's a safe place to say this. Like when I look at these things, like, will they trust me? Will they give me their friends' info? Or I've already asked so much. Like I just kind of, I have to do this to myself often. I feel like my husband does this to me often. Like I kind of want to shake this whole group and be like, you have so much to offer. Like you are amazing and talented and brilliant and smart, and you showed up to serve somebody for 45 minutes, maybe an hour. And like you should feel really good about that. Like I hear in my own referral objections and in your referral objections most times that we make ourselves small, like this big, and we give all the authority to our customer. And I just want to remind you that like you have something really amazing to offer, and they were really blessed to have that time with you. So yeah, we all like to make ourselves really small. So I just want to say that. Okay, so I have like 6 thoughts / tips on referrals. Are you guys game for rolling through, entertaining me on this? Really quick, my mom says, yeah, don't give your authority away. Please don't give your authority away. I'm very good at giving my authority away. Okay. So the first reason we ask for referrals is that our customers don't feel dumb in front of their friends and family. So here's the scenario. You've got a brand new customer, you panicked, you didn't ask for referrals. She's got her friend over, her friend sees her using lavender on her kid. And the friend is like, oh, tell me about that. And they're like, I don't know. Well, there's this and this and this diffuser. And I mean, I spent $200 and well, how much was it? Well, I spent $275 on it. And the friend is going to be like, have you lost your ever-loving mind? You spent what on it? So now your customer not only feels like, what was I thinking? I just spent $275 on this. But you have somebody like maybe another young mom that would have been really blessed to have like Breathe and lavender and frankincense around, right? Like the top 10, who is like very disinterested now because your customers aren't trained to be able to do that, right? Like we are doing an actual training right now. So your customer doesn't feel good in that scenario. The potential customer that you could have helped doesn't feel good. It just doesn't feel good. And if you go back and you're like, okay, well, in 3 months, at like the 3-month mark, I like to ask for referrals. So go back to that customer and ask them for referrals. And they're going to be like, no, all my friends said they're not interested, because all their friends know is that it's $275 and their friend just dropped a big wad of cash on it. So, or whatever form of payment. So they'll be like, yeah, I don't know anybody who's interested. So, and like you might be thinking, I think the people who lose in that situation are your new customer and their friends that you could have helped. they would have been gosh darn lucky to have 30 minutes of your time to decide if it was a good fit for them or not, right? Okay, so that's my first point. Second, we ask for referrals because it's our job. Like I said, it's not our customer's job to know how to go through the top 10 oils, explain how you would use them, aromatically, topically, internally, why doTERRA is different. That's not their job, and I don't think that we should put that on them. So if we don't ask, we have just made the decision for them, and it's also not our job. So that it is our job to help potential customers. It's not our job to decide for them. You just got to ask them and just let them tell you. If they're not going to give you referrals, they're not going to give you referrals, but that's up to them. Don't take that authority away from them, right? Can we all agree to do that? Does that make sense? I can see something in the chat. Okay, Emily says, yes, preach. Okay. So 3, we talked about this a little bit. My third tip or point is we ask for referrals proactively. We talked about this in our homework this week. And this just means asking every single time, no matter what. Like, I don't want you to like feel like a robot, but just like part of what you do. Not like I have nobody call, now I have to ask for referrals, because that feels desperate. That will come across desperate, and that will not feel fun to you, and it will not feel fun to your customers. And it might even impact their confidence in you too if they like sense that, right? So nobody wants to have to like I don't enjoy that. You can, we'll talk about ways that you can, but I'd rather just ask up front and then always have, like, could you imagine on Monday always knowing the people you were going to call to set up appointments and then just filling your appointment times or whenever. I'm thinking of my own schedule, but like, right? Just be proactive. Okay. My 4th tip or thought is that honestly, I would say that getting referrals is more important than getting a sale. Okay, so sales will come, people will buy, but if you run out of leads, you're not going to realize until it's too late, and you're going to feel like losing that momentum. I remember somebody asking Emily, right, one time, like, what her number 1 tip? She's a founder of the company, and she was like, don't lose momentum. And I would consider running out of leads losing momentum. And I think she was really spot on. So that's also why we're proactive, is so we don't end in that spot. Because if you get turned down for asking for referrals in that spot, it feels even more personal. It feels way more personal. Okay, this is my 5th tip. We ask for referrals without being afraid. What's the worst thing? What is the worst thing that could happen if you ask somebody for referrals? I heard Laura J just mouthed it. I can hear her. I'm very in tune. No, the worst thing is that they can say no. Okay? Honestly, like, you're not going to have somebody be like cuss you out or be like throw their coffee in your face. Like, that's not going to happen. So just remember that the worst thing is that you're going to get a no, and it's okay. Okay. And my 6th and final thought on this is that asking for referrals is no different than telling somebody about the safety features of essential oils. Like when somebody buys lemon for me and they live in anywhere in California, I tell them about photosensitivity. Like, I tell them not to rub their child's face with it, like just things. Would you not tell somebody to put lemon in a glass bottle? No, we all tell people if you're going to take an oil internally, use it in a glass or a stainless steel container. So asking for referrals is like, I would put on that same level. It's almost like a public service. Like, how will people find out? How will you be able to help them if you don't ask? If they don't find out about oils? And my final thought is this, and I know this probably sounds a little cheesy. Some of you are like, my goal is not to change the world. But can you meet your goal? If it's changing the world, if it's impacting moms, if it's coming home from your job, if it's bringing your husband home, can you do any of those things without rejection somewhere along the way? No, you're going to have rejection. Even if you just want to help your friends and family, you're going to have a family member that is like, I really don't want to talk to you about it. And that is going to be what it is. That is what it is. So if you really you're like, yeah, my goal is X, Y, or Z. I don't care what your goal is. There's going to be rejection somewhere along the way. Like, that's just like we talk about expecting some things, you can expect that somewhere along the way, and it's okay because we've all been there, right? There's lots of head nodding, like the people who have experienced some rejection. Okay, that was my big long rant. That was kind of terrible. Does anybody have any thoughts or anything that they want to add to that?
I do, Amy. So when you were saying we ask for referrals proactively, I just had something pop in my head. Like, you know how we go over in the beginning, like doTERRA has kits for all different budgets. So if you see something you like, blah, blah, blah. Like, what if we were proactive about asking for referrals and just had a line in there? Like, and if you think of anybody along the way, you know, maybe even just jot down at least 5 people's names. And we'll come back to that at the end. And then we'll see if there's anyone else that we can serve, you know, just to kind of amp it up, I guess, or just kind of, so you're not waiting to the end and be like, okay, this is the point where I ask for referrals, and it's like all weird.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there are definitely ways to drip it all along the way. There are things that you, when we talk next week, the week after, we're going to talk about some things that you could insert into your sales conversation on different topics, and you could do that with referrals. You could totally drip on them. I love it. That's great. Any other thoughts or takeaways or something that somebody wants to add?
Sometimes people, when you ask for referrals and you go through that beautiful way of saying it, will say, well, I really haven't tried my oils yet, if you're doing it at a follow-up appointment. And Heidi kind of alluded to this, but I have been able to say to people, well, I'm not asking you to refer the oils. I'm asking you to refer, did you like what we did? You know, like doubling back. Did you feel cared for? Was this good for you? This is what I love doing with people, and I don't charge for it. And I'd love to gift your friends some, you know, like, it's about my interaction. It's not about the oils. So don't get caught up short when somebody says, well, I don't even know. I need to use the oils for a year before I can comment.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, so there was a short video on that, but exactly. And that was great verbiage in there. And did you see her attitude and demeanor? Did you guys catch it? This is why I don't do a vendor event without my mom at my side. It's because she's like, I will gift you 30 minutes of my time. Like, I do this for free, and you are very, but you know, I'm not doing it justice, but that's the demeanor without my sassiness. You need like her in there, not me, of being like, yeah, like this is what I do for people, and I love it, and I love caring for them that way, right? Like, remember what you're asking for. Good. Other thoughts? I'm going back up to some of the things that you said that holds you back. Wendy says, I try to put it in before I start talking about the top 10 oils, so you get people to think of friends and family as they hear them. Yeah, that's a really good, because you gosh darn know that as you're going through, they're like, oh, my nephew struggles with, you know, breathing. Yeah, that's a really good one, Wendy. We're going to have to hear that in a live video outline in the group, I think. Just kidding. Maybe not kidding. I think it sounds really good. Yeah, what does that sound like? Do you want to just unmute yourself and tell us now what you say? That'd be good. Or you can say, I'd rather not be put on the spot. I'm really good at it.
No, I literally say just that. I just say, you know, before I get started explaining the top 10 oils, I'd love for you to start thinking about not just yourself and how you can use them in your life, but think about the people that are around you that you love, that can help improve their life as well. Because it's not just about me changing my life or changing your life, but it's how we can make everybody feel better about their health. Or something along those lines.
Amazing, right? Cheers for Wendy. Boom. Thank you, Wendy. Yeah, so it's just like, there's another example of just like making it, like adding that in. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. Okay, so I want to just address a couple, and again, I'm not saying I have all the answers, but some of the things that you guys said. So, Heidi, you were talking about you'd rather wait and let them just like, what if they do the business? So my 2 thoughts on that are like, you can still, like mostly the people, well, we might lose this ability, but I would move people. I'd put them wherever, and then I'd move them underneath if they change their mind. I would give them back to those people. And the second thing I would say is sometimes, you know, when you meet with somebody, you have a gut feeling like, I'd really love to work with this person. Like I'd say this is like an exception. Like you have to be able to do this and identify. But if you're having that feeling, then I would say, hey, I can talk to your friends, or I can show you how to do this, and you can make the income. And so just like, I think it's totally appropriate to say in one of the referrals, because you can ask for referrals in the follow-up appointment. In one of those outlines, it does say like, hey, I can teach you how to do this, or I can do it for you, but giving them that option, especially if you're feeling that they might be interested, open to it. So that's my only thought on that. But I totally would because we're able to kind of move people around as of right now, yeah, I would move it back. Sonia says that she thinks it's weird okay, so here's my experience with the phone thing. So one of the things you can do if people are like, I don't even know who I talk to, it's like, I just say, well, a lot of people just honestly look at their phone contact list and it makes it is super easy. And most people are like, oh, okay. And they pull out their phone and they look, right? And maybe mom, now is the right time for you to share your story. But what I find is that most people find that really helpful, right? They find it harder sometimes to just think off the top of their head. So it is actually, I think, like offering a tip to them. And I find that if I don't give them a chance to look through their phone, chances are they're going to say, well, I'll get back to you. Like the alternative is this. Why don't I text you tomorrow afternoon or call you, and it gives you a little bit of time to think about it. And your percentage of referrals that you actually get is going to go down in that time. So that's your alternative if you're like, I really can't get my arms around it. And you will not get as many referrals as if just saying, yeah, just scroll through your phone. That's what most people do. So that's up to you. That's really your other option, but I hope that makes sense. Mom, why don't you share your story right now really quick while I get a walk?
I was just going to say two things. Two parts of this whole sales appointment make me sweat. The company story I still struggle with, and just in transparency. And the other thing is referrals. And I've really worked at it. And sometimes I'm brilliant and sometimes I'm awful. And I hope that you'll all give yourself grace for that. But one day I was asking a lady and I just totally lied and said, well, gosh, the last person I talked to got her phone out and she gave me like 5. It was like, no big deal. Maybe you could look in your phone. And she got her phone out and she gave me 46 referrals.
Boom.
I was like, okay, we can be done. Okay. She was like, and then there's Sally Jo Harris. Okay.
Oh, we sent her into a coughing spasm. Yeah. So there's another, that was probably an appropriate time to share the story, but yeah, that actually happened. That's a true story. So mom, your thing, what you said was like, you feel like you already asked them for something I would just say like in front of all you lovingly, this bologna sandwich. They got 30 to 45 minutes of your expertise. You said, would you prefer, is this a good fit or not? And they said yes or no, depending on what they wanted based on what you shared. So, and remember the other thing that we come back to a lot as well, the $22 from a family essentials kit is going to be gone in 10 minutes in our business and what we're doing for our customers. And they're going to have those oils for a very long time. Like that was a turning point in their path of wellness and everything. Like for all of us, oils were a turning point. So you gave them a turning point in their life and you got $22. So I just want to keep it all in perspective a little bit there too. Mur, I don't have any answers for you. I just thought that was fascinating. I'm just kidding. But I think it's really good to look at this is really what's holding me back. And I would just encourage you to keep your emotion or your viewpoint of what you're asking for very lighthearted, because it really is. It's like a couple of phone calls. They might say yay or nay. So keep it light. But I think that's really interesting that you identified that, but I hope that makes sense. Keep it light, right? Amy, spoken like a true, okay, I'm going to stop now for a minute. So referrals. So, what I think the key is when it comes to asking for referrals is, again, we kind of talk about this, letting them behind the curtain, like in an appropriate way, but being really genuine and authentic as to this is why I'm asking. I'm asking because I don't want to post about doTERRA 10 times a day on my personal Facebook page and have everybody unfriend me, whatever it might be. So what I actually want you guys to do is a couple of us, which I haven't really given it, maybe just 2 of us, I don't really know, are going to just share our referral approach, what we say, for you to be able to hear it. So I'm just going to share mine. None of this is perfect. Lord only knows. And I asked Emma if she would share hers 2 minutes before we got on the call. And if anybody else wants to share theirs. But just to hear some of these, it's the same as the close. I want you to hear this. Okay, so I don't really have I'm just going to do it. So was this helpful for you? Okay, perfect. My absolute favorite thing to do is to help people with essential oils. And I really only meet with people that I know or who have been personally recommended to me, because I really don't like stalking people. I like to meet with people who are nice, they are open to learning, and they don't have to buy anything if they don't want to. So what I usually do is this. If you have 5 names of people who would be open to just hearing from me, I would love to gift you a wild orange just to say thank you for trusting me. Is that something you'd be open to? Okay, great. You can write them down right here. I'll grab the wild orange, and I can also, if you'd like, text you what you can say to them ahead of time so they are expecting my call. Thank you so much. Okay, so obviously there's a real person on the other end of the line, but my mom says I'd give you my social security number. Okay, so that is along the lines of what I say. Did anybody feel offended? Did anybody spit out their water or like feel like that's just not gonna fly? No, it seemed like it went over okay. I didn't see any like vulgar, you guys, whoever's private chatting each other better stop right now. I'm just kidding. But nothing vulgar happened. San said, how does this work via technology? So if I'm Zooming, it's true, I do almost everything via Zoom. So I would say what you can do is you can either put the names in the chat and give them a minute to do that and like put the wild orange in a package and go do, I'm gonna go get that ready to mail out. Or you can say as soon as we hang up, you can text them to me. But remember, you're going to, like, the longer you let it go, the more you lose them. So it's better if they just throw it right in the chat, or they just, like, dictate to you off of their phone even. It's better to get it there. Yeah, and then I run it to the post office while they write down all 46. So all the things. But I hope that answers, Sonia. That was a good question. Other questions about that?
I just like how you said that thank you for trusting me or whatever. You threw in the trust thing. That totally sounds like something I could say and feel authentic.
Yeah, Jordan said, well, you and Jordan like said the same thing. She was just typing it. Yeah, so they're trusting you not to just like be strange. And I think it's important to point that out. Like, thank you very much.
I liked how you addressed the stalking issue. You just named it right up front, and I that was good.
Everybody, do you know what the best part of adding that in? I would encourage you to add in a line that makes them laugh, because it eases everybody. When they laugh, like you could say, I like to meet with people that I know or have been personally recommended to me because I'm not going to blow up my newsfeed, whatever, but put in something because they will laugh, and like that tension that you have just breaks. And I think it's really nice. Good. Okay, do you want to just unmute yourself and share the way that you ask?
Okay, well now I can't because I'm all flustered, because hearing Melissa's was so good that I can't even I can't remember what I say. So seriously, I'm like, my brain is thinking like I'm gonna remake mine based on some of the things you said. I thought was really good. So I have made a lot of adjustments to mine, and I was like, I don't think I actually have it written down anywhere. So I'll give you a general. So the way I do it is a little bit different. So I give people 2 options. I ask them if they want to give me referrals or if they want to host a class, because different people respond to, think that's fun. So my brain is spinning so fast. We'll see if I can get out of my mouth.
You're good. We all love you.
Okay, thank goodness. Okay, so I finish up, we do the close or whatever. Was this helpful? Great. I'm so glad. So as you know, this is obviously something that I do as a business, and I strive to do it in a way that's really loving and authentic. And so I generally only meet with people who I know personally or people who have been personally recommended to me. So I like to give people a couple options. So option number 1, you could host a class. So it's super fun. It's really low key. You don't have to have 1,000 people there or anything. And I will just come teach your friends about oils, do the same thing that I did for you, and you get a free bottle of oil for hosting. So some people are like, yes, that sounds so fun. And some people are like, absolutely not, hard pass. That's totally fine, because option number 2 is I'll do the work for you. So if you have 5 friends who you think would want to hear about oils, they don't have to buy anything for sure. But you can give me their names and numbers and I'll give them a call. If they want to talk about oils, we'll set up a time. If not, I won't call them again. Which one of those would you prefer? And then usually they're like, I get an answer. Not all the time. It's not foolproof, but I do like giving them the 2 options.
It's so good. Em gets the award for implementing the 2 choice rule in every aspect of her life and every fiber of her being. Like she has because it's genius. It's genius to give people 2 choices rather than just like a yes and a no. And I just feel like that's such a great example. Wasn't that really good, right? That's totally different. That's not what I said, but that was really good. And I think that like you might find, since I'm sitting at my kitchen table in northern Wisconsin, like, yeah, I guess they could host an online class, but mine sounds a little different because the chances of me driving to them right now are hard pass, right? Not so much. So I think it's a really good example of being able to spin it in a way that works for you. Yeah, it was brilliant. Does anybody else have a referral? I didn't text anybody 2 minutes before the call besides M. Does anybody want to share what they say when they ask for referrals, even if it's not perfect, so that people can continue to hear some samples of that? It's okay if it's a no, but was it helpful to hear at least some examples? Yeah. Okay, good. Okay, here's what I'm thinking. I'm looking at the clock here really quick. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to share my screen really quick, and I want to show you 2 things that I'm going to put into the group. Okay. I'll probably just present this so you can see. Okay, so this is simply a PowerPoint of examples for different ways that you can ask for referrals. Okay, so there's lots of different options. You can get lots of different verbiage, the different affirmation questions you can you can keep it short, you can add things in. So I think there's like 8 of these. There's quite a few. And so all different ways to do it. So I'm going to put that up in the group. No, probably in the Thinkific. I'm not sure where yet. I'll let you know. Maybe both. So you'll have access to that. And the other thing that I want you guys to see is, does anybody want to know what to say when they actually contact a referral? Maybe. Would that be helpful? Just maybe. It might not be helpful. That's okay. Well, now I've deleted it, so you're going to have to wait a second. Oh my gosh, Amy, what in the world? Sorry, this is terrible. Did I just delete out of it? I totally did when I stopped sharing. Okay, well, a couple of things about contacting a referral. Do I have it pulled up somewhere? Oh, I do. Praise the Lord. Okay. Oh, Heidi, you're so tech savvy. I found it. I'm going to pull it up here. I have it in a PDF on my desktop. Okay, so here's what I want you to see. So when you contact a referral, we talked about this a little bit in the videos, but there's 3 contacts. If you don't hear from them in 3 contacts, you throw in the towel, girlfriend. That's it. We're not going to bug them. Okay. 3 contacts, totally normal. My husband, Gary's an insurance agent, and he had some kind of sales guy tell him, he's like, oh yeah, you should be contacting your people 8 times within 48 hours. And I was like, yeah, no, I don't teach that. So I think this is pretty, you might be thinking 3, whoa, this is actually, I think, very conservative and super doable. So the first contact, you're calling them and you say, here, this is Amy. We don't know each other. I was chatting with Rachel the other day. Your name came up. Did she tell you I was going to call? We were talking about essential oils, da-da-da-da-da. And then look, it's your usually outline. You guys are so familiar with this. Same thing then. Would you like to meet via technology or in person? Openings, okay? And going on so forth. If you do not get them to pick up, you leave a voicemail, okay? So I gave you an outline for leaving a voicemail. And then after you leave a voicemail, you text them, because 50%, I'd say higher, don't listen to voicemails. I don't quite understand it. So you shoot them a text, okay? And then you're gonna let them know in the voicemail and text when you're gonna be reaching back out, that you might have time blocked out tomorrow, whenever the time is blocked out in your calendar. So then you give them their second call. See, here's your second call. Great. Talking with them. Options if they say yes or no. And then if they don't pick up, you leave a voicemail and you text them. Same format. Call, if you get a voicemail, you leave it and you text. And then third contact, I did the same thing for you. It's all in there, okay? So you can see, you can literally pull up this document, you can tweak it, you can read from it, but that to me is the ideal and like most fruitful format to follow without being like, I'm gonna hunt you down. Because here's the thing, I got a referral, I received a referral. And I love the first contact, so doable. It's easier than calling people you know. It's so easy. Call them, boom, done. Calling them that second time after you had to leave a voicemail, kill me now. Hate it, okay? So I'm always like, am I going to do it? I have to do it. I have to do it. So I did my second round of contacting those 5 referrals, and somebody picked up the phone. And you know what she said to me? She said, I've been waiting for your call because you said you were going to call me back on this day. And I said, darn straight, good thing I did, because she was waiting for that, right? So I just think it's really important to follow through even when it's not comfortable. And there's a reason we say, I'm going to reach back out to you on this day if I don't hear from you, okay? That's appropriate then to follow through. It actually, you'd look kind of bad if you didn't follow through. Anybody have any questions about contacting referral? I'll put that document up too. A lot happened in the chat. Everybody loves being called 8 times in 48 hours. Yeah, Heidi doesn't listen to voicemails. It's so interesting. Okay, so does anyone feel remotely better about referrals? Or maybe a little bit better. Okay, so what you have to do, I haven't said this yet on this call, but what you absolutely, if you are going to ask for referrals, you need to connect with your coach, you need to connect with whoever's your person on this call, and you're going to make your own referral outline. Because if you don't make this outline your own, you will never ask for them. You won't, because you don't feel comfortable doing it. So in order to implement this, get together with your coach. They'll have a way to be able to kind of walk you through it, and your business will never look the same. Never look the same. And you will be glad that you learned how to do this and not sound like a weirdo. Does anybody have any final takeaways? Control Z, is that what I'm doing? Heidi, is that what you told me? What did she tell me in the chat?
You said you deleted something, so Control Z undoes what you deleted. I don't know if you still need that.
I found it. It's just my computer did something funny. Thank you. Okay. Well, that was really fun. All right, are you guys ready to hear your challenge? It's turned into a diamond ring. Complete all 8 weeks as a diamond ring now, people, all right? And a trip to Puerto Vallarta, I decided, okay? I'm throwing that in just because it was so gosh darn fun. Okay, your challenge for this week. Post a video of you doing your referral ask. It can be live, it can be recorded. If you just want to read from one of our outlines or the outline that's up in the Thinkific, fine, do that. That's fine. It counts. It totally counts. But I'm telling you, get together with your coach and write one that you'll actually say out loud to people. Because otherwise it ain't happening. So that's your challenge. Get it done. Yeah, Wendy wants a room next to Emily Wright. We're going to have a whole lot more challenges happening here to earn a room next to Emily Wright. I don't even know where she slept. I tried to find her. I didn't. Okay, you guys have a great night. Next week is going to be fun. We're getting there. Keep going. You're doing a good job. This is worth it. This is fun. And we'll talk in a week. Peace.